Cadillac is saying we're going to come up with a new vehicle every 6 months until 2020. That's a lot of new product. Cadillac has always been a brand about innovation and technology. You can see that in their past brands. They had a lull that didn't really meet their branding, but now they're back. This is the 2019 Cadillac XT4. Think of it as like the Escalade that never grew up. It comes in two different models. Basically, there's an entry-level model, but then it goes sport model or premium luxury. We've driven both, and we're going to give you an inside look on the difference of each vehicle and some of the cool differences of each one and why you want to take it for a test drive, especially if you're looking in the SUV marketplace. We just spent the morning inside the Luxe version. Now there's a sport version and there's a Luxe version. And inside this vehicle, you're getting all the luxury. My favorite, massaging seats. Needless to say, both sides, double thumbs up for the lumbar support. Thank you, General Motors, for paying attention. That's critical when you're in this price point. You're in that $40,000 range. I mean, that's fantastic. And to me, when you're buying a vehicle about luxury, it should have that. So starting with the steering wheel, it's got a nice grippy wheel, super comfortable seats that are completely adjustable. The gauges in front of you are real gauges, plus of course, the center between the gauges has some of the technology that you need to know. I'm really a huge fan of the head-up display. It's multicolored. It shows fuel economy. It shows the gear you're in. It shows a lot of information about safety and what's going on around you. Excellent. Really love the styling. It's very, very polished, detailed. Everything is soft touch, which I really appreciate. Going down to the center stick below the vents, you've got a really nice size screen that has all the things that you would expect from General Motors. OnStar is up here, but down here is all the information you want. There's a manual button for the home button, but what you're getting is all the information right here. Real clean, real crisp, super easy to use. Below the main screen is climate control. It has a sweep, sort of like the bottom of the logo on Cadillac. Moving down, you've got air-cooled and heated cool seats, 3 stages, which is excellent. You've got your park assist, your lane departure, and each side has their own adjustments. So the shifter is really easy to use. It makes a lot of sense. Moving down to the center, you've got all your controls that you can use as an alternative. So you can either touch screen or use these controls. Going behind the cup holders, you've got your traction control, your auto on off, and of course your modes. There are different modes on this vehicle because it's the Luxe, which is different than the Sport, and we'll talk about that next, is Tour, all-wheel drive, and Sport. So those are the adjustments. All-wheel drive really takes the difference of a nice cushy ride and gives you full grip to the road. On the Sport, it changes only the steering input as well as the shift points. But I have to say, I like it in Sport, and I really like it in all-wheel drive. Let's go drive the Sport. Now, some of the things that I do really like about both of these vehicles is the head-up display and the color, like I said, in the Luxe version. But one of the things I really love about the Sport are the seats. Boy, they have more adjustability to them, and I'll say that over and over again. Seating comfort's critical. Visibility is good except for the rear, but then again, you've got this awesome rear view mirror that currently is a regular rear view mirror, but when you put it into a little lever, you actually get a camera that faces the rear that is completely adjustable, and I can see all the cars around me like no other car on the marketplace, so I give them a lot of credit for that. I know that they put a lot of money into the audio system. If you're really an audiophile, you should take the time to read some of the details down below. Some of the other differences is there are polished wheels versus flat wheels. I really like the monochromatic coloring that's in the Sport mode. It's sort of a little bit more aggressive with a little bit of attitude, where the luxury is that. It's all about pure luxury. One of the things about the Sport trim that you will not see on the premium luxurious version is the active suspension that adjusts 500 times a second. That's a lot. I haven't really noticed that much of a difference, but I will tell you, I love this vehicle in all-wheel drive. It has a completely different feeling than it does in the touring mode, and then when you put it in Sport on top of that, of course that's the mode I like, but I think the all-wheel drive gives you the best grip and feel for the road. The touring really is a very luxurious way to get around town, especially if you're taking clients somewhere, or maybe you have a baby you want to keep quiet in the back seat. There's all kinds of reasons that you might decide to go with the touring mode versus the performance mode or the Sport mode. The last thing I wanted to cover is the glass roof. I'm really a big fan of the glass roof. It is full glass, but when you close the cover, it's not see-through. It actually covers up the light inside. So for whatever reason you don't want any of the light coming through the glass roof, this actually does that. And that's different from a lot of the brands that have some sort of screen. This is actually an opaque cover, and it does help sort of deaden some of the sound. One of the big differences between the Sport and the Premium Luxe model is not just the door handles, which are body color on the Sport and have this cool lighting on the Luxury, but there's a difference on the inside. We found the seats to be more supportive in the Sport and more adjustment, but both came with lumbar and massage seats. I think that's necessary in a vehicle in this price point, but you're looking at a vehicle that's coming in around that $40,000 range. And it has wireless charging. It has every single thing you want in safety: lane departure, forward collision warning, active cruise control, blind spot detection, a round view camera. There's so much standard on this vehicle that it really makes it a heavy competitor with some of the vehicles in this category. Besides the fact this vehicle is running for North American SUV of the Year. I have to say, I couldn't find anything really wrong with it. I like the new design. I'm a huge fan of these really cool LED lights. The design on this vehicle is different from what you might think. They moved the wheels forward from the XT5, they made them wider, and the back seat has leg and headroom for people up to 6'1". The storage in the back is quite significant. Compared to the competitors, this is a vehicle that you should consider. The 2-liter turbo engine does have its issues. We did notice that there are times when it could use some more power, but they really tried to balance out that efficiency of fuel economy on top of that performance of the engine. So between the design, the new engine, the new 9-speed automatic transmission, which improves the fuel economy, all those numbers are down below. The competitors are listed down below. Some of our pros and cons are listed down below. I think you might be impressed. I mean, Cadillac is saying we're going to come up with a new vehicle every 6 months until 2020. That's a lot of new product, which means you're going to clean out the old technology, the old product, bring in some new technology. They say they want to compete. They've got a new leader in charge, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to say. I'd love to hear your comments down below, especially if you take a Cadillac XT4 for a drive, or you decided not to buy one or buy one. We'd like to hear what your thoughts are. Of course, follow us on all forms of social media. We appreciate your support. Don't forget that Patreon page. And of course, subscribe, hit that little bell so you know every time we put up a 4-Minute Friday, a Car Coach review, or a His Turn, Her Turn post. We thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Keep those comments coming. I'm gonna go drive the roads of Seattle. One last thing. I'm always looking for that negative thing. Got to nitpick on a vehicle like this. I don't have to nitpick, but in this case, the cup holders are really small, so if you have a bottle that's this size, it fits. But if you have a bottle that is a little bit larger, say this size, it doesn't fit. You have to jam it in the door.